This is the show that you've been waiting for. Came through with the spirit that you can't ignore. Ain't got no voices, so we stay informed. Straight up love, hope you stay informed. This is the show that you've been waiting for. Came through with the spirit that you can't ignore. Ain't got no voices, so we stay informed. Straight up love, hope you stay informed.
Stay connected.
Straight up love, straight up love, straight up love, it's all love, straight up love, straight up love, straight up love, it's all love.
Hey y'all, welcome to Straight Up Love on Spirit 1400. I am your host, K Love, here to lift our voices everywhere for justice, Black excellence, and spiritual uprising. I'm here to inspire, shake things up a little bit, and to do all things with great care, purpose, and intention. You can catch me every first and third Saturday from 11 to 11:30 a.m. on Spirit 1400 and soon on DCTV. I'd like to start every show with a love note. A love note is a poem, quote, or scripture that inspires, allows you to be grateful, and again, to lift our voices everywhere. Today's scripture or ayat comes from the Quran, chapter 8, verse 30. They plot and plan, and Allah too plans, but the best of planners is Allah. I chose that quote because right now a lot of folks are planning, but we know that God has the final say in everything that we do. Today, I have the pleasure to chat with Brother Rizza Islam. He was born and raised in Compton, California. He is the youngest of 10, 5 brothers, 5 girls. He is a member of the Nation of Islam and FOI, which stands for Fruit of Islam. He's an entrepreneur, an independent researcher. Rizza Islam, welcome to Straight Up Love. How are you?
I'm honored to be here, sister. Peace to everybody who's listening. Definitely honored.
Thank you. There are so many things I want us to talk about in our 30 minutes that we have, but we know that I would be remiss if we didn't talk about our brother Ahmaud Arbery, who was gunned down back in February, actually. So really for me, Rizza, I'm actually very tired of the same scenario happening over and over, but I can't be tired. We can't be tired. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts, and I have some follow-up questions.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is, like you just said, we are definitely tired, and the situation and circumstance cannot continue. Matter of fact, it will not continue. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan has taught us, he said, you know, the fall of America, per the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was going to come. It was going to come. It's inevitable. After the dollar falls, the government will fall behind the dollar. We already know the dollar is pretty much gone. And so now the government is scrambling. They don't know who to hire. They fired most of the people on Trump's staff, etc. So now they're going into this uproar. They're confused and they're trying to scramble to get things together. But certain Caucasian people still carry that devilish mentality, and they carry it out physically. And so we as a people really have to just get back to who we are, unite so that we can do something for ourselves and separate from this system, separate from this government into a state and territory of our own.
Right. I agree with the separation piece. Some of my friends or people that I know, they feel like we still need to coexist. Like, what do you think about that? Like, can we still we can be separate and coexist, or does that even make sense?
Little China, little Armenia, little Cambodia, little Ethiopia, meaning everyone who has their own separate state or territory, they are separate but equal in that they have their own transportation, they have their own education, they have their own schooling, they are their own grocery stores, their own everything, a nation within a nation. So they have their own separate nation that is acknowledged, that is agreed with, and that is not messed with, because they have their own everything and they don't rely on the outside government. So that means we can still have our own land in this land, but we own everything that goes on with and around it. And we also have to secure it as well. That's the main thing behind Tulsa, Oklahoma. They didn't have enough security to secure what it is that they had. So we've already been trying to coexist with them for a long time. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that they are not agreeable to live with, clearly. So we should have our own everything, because power only respects power. They don't respect a beggar. So we should have our own, and, you know, let them do what they do. We'll do what we do, you know, but we have to actually have our own in order for us to even be taken serious as a people.
Right. I get it. I like that. So, but when it comes to situations like Brother Arbery, what steps, You kind of said, but what steps can we push for change, like political change, and how can we move forward as a Black community?
Number one, I'd say the first thing is we have to actually organize, meaning we have to get on one page. Now, we all want to get mad and irritated and angry. That's good. It's good. That means you actually feel something, because some of us don't feel anything. So good. You at least feel something for your brother. Okay, good. That's number one. Number two, we don't have the weaponry to fight them with weaponry that they have, but we do have something that we can do. One option is we can sue the insurance company that insures the police uniforms, the police weapons, as well as the vehicles, etc. That's what they've done in multiple cities. I think there's over 20 cities where that's happened, where the entire police department was dismantled because the insurance company said, you are a heavy liability for us, and we're going to be sued if you don't remove your problem officers. So they dismantled the whole police department because the people said, we're going to come after you legally. So that's one thing, and that doesn't take long at all. Another thing we can do, of course, as I said, is separate. Another thing we can do is remove our financial support of anything that goes towards the taxes of a city that uses an oppressive police force. So that means spending money with only Black-owned businesses, going the extra mile to only spend with Black-owned businesses, because that will remove the tax power that benefits the policing system. See, so there's a number of things that we can do here. We have plenty of options. The last one, which we don't want to do, but the last one that God is really going to push is us fighting, defending physically. So we should always be prepared for that as well. Exercise, training martial arts and boxing. If you use weapons, that's your choice. We don't carry weapons, but if you want to do that, that's up to you. Some people have families and they like, I need to have guns, whatever. That's up to you. But be prepared. And also we need to activate in all the different options that we have.
Right. I like those steps. I hope the Love Crew was listening to the different things we can all do to come together for that. And so just may he rest in peace, and we remember and push towards something as a community. So Rizza, you know that, well, if you don't know, Spirit 1400 is a Christian station, and I want the Love Crew to be able to hear from people that think different and practice different from us. So I know for you at age 4, your stepfather went to jail, and like you said, you were born Muslim, but when he went to jail, that like broke the family structure. So can you kind of talk about those years of until you came back? Like what was going on between 4 and 21, 24, around there?
Absolutely. Well, first off, for anyone who, is in the hood, any projects, anything like that, that when your father, if we have our father in our lives at all, once the father is taken from the family, if he was a strong man, that is a huge gap that it leaves. It leaves it open for virtually anybody. That's when drug dealers come in. That's when prostitution starts happening. If your mother gets on drugs, etc., all these things were happening in my family. And so once he was arrested, the family, my siblings started to break off and leave one by one. And I was left with my mother. I'm the youngest of 10. So it was just me and her. We actually had to move to multiple houses. It was one house at one point. Then we had to go from that house to another one at another point. And I remember house hopping at least 4 times until we finally got settled. And when we did get settled, as far as the spirituality, praying, I wasn't doing as much as I used to when I was doing that 4, which was I was getting up at 5 a.m. I prayed in Arabic long before I prayed in English. So that was the first thing on. I remember that. Just that's what I was doing. But of course, as I said, when he was taken, that dismantled everything. And when we got finally settled, my mother met a Christian Baptist minister. And so I started to go to church. True Faith Christian Center was the name of the church. And so I was going to church in that, which was weird for me. So, because if you Muslim, you go to church, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm hearing Jesus this, Jesus that, the Bible this, the Bible that. All right, cool. So I'm learning that. That's what I was learning for those years. And as I'm learning this, and that I became I wasn't a deacon, but after I got baptized, which again, all this stuff was very new to me, then I became a youth minister under him. And again, Bible this, Bible that for years and years and years, the choir and all this, which was like, I'm getting that side. So I had the Quran and a nation, and I was at the MUI, Muhammad University of Islam, and Sister, Claire Muhammad School, all of that. And then I go to this side, which was completely different. And then finally around the age of 23, 23, 24 is when it came full circle back to the Nation of Islam. And so that solidified everything for me. And the interesting, what's interesting about that is in the Nation, we study the Bible as well. That's what a lot of
Right.
people don't know. We study that. But when I was young, I'm between my birth up until about the age of 4 or 5, I'm not doing too much reading. So I didn't know that, but by the time I came back, it was full circle. Everything made perfect sense. And so it just added to everything that I had already started with from birth.
Well, can you talk more about that? What led you, because you was an usher, you was in the choir, you was a
Oh, yeah.
minister, or a youth minister. What led you back to the Nation of Islam, though? Because
It
usually
was
people will switch. Some people will go from Muslim to Christian or go back and forth. What brought you back to Islam?
the work that I was doing in the community from about the age of 12 at a program called the World Literacy Crusade, which was a nonprofit literacy program, drug education, drug rehabilitation program. We conduct everything from anger management, parenting skills, etc. That program, I was doing the work primarily in Compton, Watts, LA, Southgate, Linwood, Gardena. That is where I was helping people for years. And because of that, I was doing a lot of community work, as I still do community work. Long before social media, that's what I've been doing. And so doing the community work, I'm running into my brothers and sisters, and they looking at me, I'm looking at them, and they like, he look like an FOI. And I'm like, Assalamu alaikum. They're like, well, Islam. And so we, it was crazy how it happened, but it was getting in the community and doing the work in the community where I reconnected with the brotherhood. And I'm telling you, man, it was beautiful how it happened. And so when I finally got back, like I said, it enhanced everything. I feel like I needed to go through that process through the Christian church, getting that entire side, because that connects me to the other half of our people. A lot of our people are still in the Christian church. A lot of our people are in the mosque, and a lot of our people are in different areas. So we need to know all of that so that we can know how to speak to our people, regardless of whatever. You got a beard, you clean shaven, you say Jesus, you say Allah, Muhammad, whatever. We are one people. So I feel like, Allah wanted me to go through it that way, but it was the community work that reconnected me with the brotherhood and sisterhood.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. So I know for a lot of us Black Americans, we know Nation of Islam. And so kind of that follow-up question is, why not the Orthodox Islamic faith? Why Nation of Islam and not the Orthodox?
Orthodox primarily is for, Arabs. That's what, where it started in that cultural sense, not as far as the Holy Quran, because we study, of course, the Holy Quran, but as far as a cultural expression of what Islam is. As a Black man in America, I can walk around with a jalabia and a kufiya and a beard, and I can do all that. But that's a cultural difference. That's a cultural expression of an Arab in the Middle East versus a Black man in America. And the other difference is the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad are specifically conducive scientifically, not only spiritually. They add the science of militancy that speaks to the nature of the Black man and woman ourselves, what was in us before the cultural Arab expression, because most people have to understand that Islam has no beginning nor ending. So Prophet Muhammad did not start Islam. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. But in the Holy Quran, it says, this day I have perfected for you your religion and have given you or prescribed for you Islam as your religion. Islam is a way of life, which brings peace. So that means, so this is something we were already expressing, but now you had to give it to us as a lifestyle, even though we were already living it before. See, so the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought back that militant understanding of who God is, and it brings back that side that is more of the power, the spirit, as well as the understanding of this is a hostile environment that we're in. This is not a peaceful environment, so if we really wanted to go according to the laws of Islam in the Middle East, then there would be a lot of war going on right now between us and people in America. So everything had to be scientifically brought back to the origin of how it was for us as original people.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm more asking you those questions for the Love Crew, the ones listening,
yes.
kind of hear the differences. And with that, so before we move on from the faith part, it's I'm sure it's a lot, but can you talk about 3 misconceptions that Christians have about the Nation of Islam or
Oh,
the
sure.
myths? Yeah, just pick
Oh,
3.
sure. Okay, the first one, the biggest one is we don't believe in Jesus. That's the biggest
Right.
misconception, right? Which is not true. We don't believe in Caesar Borgia, the Caucasian male that people think is Jesus. We don't believe in that white man because that's not Jesus. The Bible itself says he had skin like burnished brass burned in an oven, hair, like lamb's wool. Then the later translation says hair white like lamb's wool. But he was a black man by all intents and description. Palestine, you had to be at least olive skinned or a little darker to even survive over there. His mother was Egyptian, or she was from ancient Kemet, talking about Mother Mary. So that's first thing. Okay, so we don't believe in what the colonizers pushed on us as Jesus. We believe in the true Jesus, that man, and we absolutely believe that he did come from God. The Holy Quran says every nation receives a messenger. So yes, we believe in Jesus. That's point number one. Point number two is one major thing I laugh at is Muslims can have multiple wives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is conditional. Okay, this is
Right.
not something like, oh yeah, y'all can just have 4 wives. Hold on, player. Wait a minute. Okay, it's to the love crew. Okay, it's not easy to be married to one black woman. To men who are
Right.
married to one black woman, it's a lot of work to maintain one sister the right way because she deserves to be treated the right way. So to go from 1 to 2 and 3, hold on, that's a lot of work. And you have to
It's a lot.
you have to bring even fairness to each one of them, give them their own everything. It's a lot of, if you want to go down that road, the Holy Quran says you can, but if you are unable to deal fairly among them, then one is best for you if you but knew. That's what the Holy Quran says. So I'm going to marry one. Okay. And
You
that was
tried to
primarily, oh
go
no, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say you tried to tell Nick Cannon that
Oh
with your
yeah,
interview with.
love our brother, but I had to hit him. He know, and he
Right.
he respects it. I'm like, bro, you just say you want to do that because you got money. You want to, okay? Listen, not mad at you, brother. But don't try to slam the sisters. And he's like, no, I'm not slamming the sisters. I'm not. I said, okay, cool. Just say you want to go do your thing. All right, cool. But so that's that on that side, and that primarily was due to what was happening during the height of war under Prophet Muhammad. So when war was going on, a lot of families were losing their husband. The women and children were losing their father and their husband. So therefore, a lot of women were widows. And Prophet Muhammad said, how can we fix this so men were able to take on multiple wives so that the women and children could have a father figure? So it was very scientific. And right now, women outnumber men about 11-1. So
Right.
so mathematically it makes sense, but morally we have to make sure we get there morally. And the Bible speaks about the same of King Solomon and multiple
Yes,
wives now.
especially the widows. The Bible definitely talks about widows and brothers, the brothers of
Yes.
the husband taking care of the woman. So
Yeah. So sex is the last thing. It's more so about building a nation, building a family. This woman is going to be the one who does the gardening. This one does the finances. This one raises the children. Like it's a nation building system. So I'm not promoting it because some of y'all are like, well, sound pretty good. I'm just explaining
right.
that's what it is. And the third misconception that I've heard about the nation, there's a lot of misconceptions. Geez, I've heard so many things. I've heard, okay, another misconception, let's say Nation of Islam and Scientology is one misconception.
Mm-hmm.
Funny thing is, I've never heard anybody complain about members of the Nation of Islam studying Christianity. I've never heard anyone complain about members of the Nation of Islam studying Hinduism. I've never heard anyone complain about members of the Nation of Islam studying Buddhism, Taoism, Shinto, the Baha'i faith. I've never heard of anyone complaining about any of this, which, by the way, we study all of it because we need to know the language that belongs to the original people, and we need to see what it is that's going on our planet. We don't believe that just one piece of this earth belongs to us. We believe the planet belongs to the original man, all 196,940,000 square miles, and I need to know what's going on every inch of it. So therefore, when people say Scientology, I just laugh because you just don't know what it is. If you knew that Scientology was, it's information, it means a study of knowledge, first of all. the study of knowledge or the study of the spirit in relationship to itself and the physical universe. Okay, let me see what that's about. Is it based off of some devilish, evil, wicked systems? I've been studying that for about the last 12, 13 years.
Yep.
So I've destroyed virtually anybody who even attempts to talk, not in defense of it, but just saying, have you read anything over there? It's like people who talk about the nation. They say, well, Elijah Muhammad this. I say, have you read Message to the Black Man? Have you read Our Savior Has Arrived, the Fall of America? Have you read? Well, no, I haven't read. Come on, man. It's just like, come on, bro. So yeah. So these are the misconceptions. So no, we study anything because we believe all knowledge belongs to the original man. And even in the Bible, it talks about, I believe it says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get an understanding. Okay, well, you need to know what's going on. Read, ask questions. But if we're afraid, then that means we believe that somebody else is God other than God, and that's the problem.
Right.
So, yeah. So no, we're not Scientologists. We don't push that on nobody. No, we just say, whatever you want to study, it's your choice. But we Muslims under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad under Minister Farrakhan. So no, there's no monetary money relationship. There's no incentive. You don't hear nobody over here pushing, hey, go to Scientology. No, and I never will say that. Please. So that's another misconception.
Right. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you for that. For those that are just tuning in, this is Straight Up Love on Spirit 1400. I'm your host, K Love, here to lift our voices everywhere. I am with Rizza Islam, who is an independent researcher. He's an entrepreneur, and what he really does research a lot about is vaccinations. And so let's kind of talk about that. I really wanted to talk about the Islamic faith, but what you really do and what you really research is about vaccination. So let's talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19. Can you talk about, let's see, how do I want to do this one? One, what do you think, what are your thoughts about the vaccine that they're creating or manipulating or trying to have us take? Tell us about the COVID-19 vaccination.
Number one, there are at least 7 countries who are coming up with these different vaccines. Multiple African countries have already come up with their own solutions to this. Tanzania is saying that they are dealing with some. Kenya has already come up with a magnificent solution that is working famously. Of course, China has already come out with different solutions. Italy is coming out with different solutions. A few universities in America as well. So people are vying and testing their own thing. They're not all on one page. All of them have their own so-called vaccine. All of them have their own studies, and all of them have their own dates upon which they want to release it. But the ultimate one happens to be under good old Bill Gates. And this individual, who was possibly one of the most wicked individuals on the planet, states that he not only wants to have this vaccine to be pushed, but he also wants to have a tracking system and a tattoo ink microscopic technology chip to be put in the bloodstream, which would track and trace to see who was vaccinated and who was not. Now you're dealing with micro technology here, nanotechnology, and it's not about health. They do not care about the people's health. Let's make this very clear. If they cared about the people's health, there would not be 75,000 women gone. There would not be over 100,000 people dying from this disease, over 1 million people dying from, I believe, not measles, but malaria. You have people dying from cancer every day, the flu every day. They don't care about the health, okay? They have fast food in every inner city, liquor in every inner city. So health is not their agenda. Control, which is population control, is the ultimate agenda under the Healthy People 2020 guidelines and the ID 2020 guidelines. These are government, forms that people have to look at and understand. This is not conspiracy theory. This is absolute documentation. And I've been telling people about this for the last 4 or 5 years. So they're pushing for that because they want to control. They have lost control of the money. They have lost control of the people. So the monetary system is gone. And what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said is that once the dollar goes down, the government will go down behind the dollar. So now they are trying to find a way to scramble to maintain control over the population of people, which is a little over 330 million currently in America. And they do not have enough to maintain control with a little less than 820,000 police officers they don't have enough people to control. So that's why they're trying to get rid of. And as Zbigniew Brzezinski said in earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people than it was to physically kill them. But he says now it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control. So the vaccine has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with population control.
Wow, that's a lot. Love y'all will definitely have to YouTube Rizza Islam. He has a lot of information about vaccinations. But real quick, because we're in this pandemic, can you talk? What words do you have for us to stay safe and to stay healthy and to fight the virus and COVID-19, especially for the Black family?
Yes, absolutely. For the Black family, number one thing that is going on with us is our existing medical condition, our pre-existing medical conditions, whether if you have diabetes, whether if you have asthma, all these different things that we deal with as a people is what the virus is latching onto and then enhancing. It's not the virus that's killing Black folks. It's our overall medical condition that already exists that the virus is agitating. So we have to cut out the sugar, cut out most fried foods, cut out the fast foods. We have to increase in our levels of vitamin C. We have to drink more water, eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. We have to exercise. Matter of fact, we have to get a lot more cardio exercise in, as well as muscle building exercises in. The sodas, the top ramen noodles, we gotta the Kool-Aid, chitlins. We gotta get. It's a lot of stuff we have to get rid of. You know, it's our health, our physical health that is the problem, and that is what Dr. Fauci has said. That's probably one of the only truth statements that he's given, which is that it's the pre-existing conditions that Black people are dealing with that is causing them to pass away. He said it's not COVID itself. This is the newest strain of a virus. The coronavirus is a family of viruses, and it has a lot of them. This is the newest mutated strain. This is SARS-CoV-2. And that information I received from a whistleblower out of the CDC themselves directly. They do not take these vaccines. They do not take the medication. They take ginger. They take high levels of vitamin C. They take elderberry. They take astragalus. They take colloidal silver. These are all the different things: antiviral, antifungal, and of course, immune boosting. Vitamin D. Get outside, Black folk. They told us to stay inside. But every virologist, every biochemist, every biologist has said that is the worst thing you could do, which is get away from the sun. That's terrible. Get outside, because sun rays help to stimulate the vitamin D production in the body, which adds to the overall immune boosting system, which helps for the likelihood of us to fight off diseases. So get in the sun. Right. So hope that's enough solutions. I have a whole lot more, but those are easy. Yeah, and affordable. We can do that.
Thank you for that. Do you have any quick tips for our incarcerated brothers and sisters?
Yes. Thank you for asking, because yes, they're dealing with a lot in there, man. It just made me think about when I was locked up, the conditions that they had us in when I was there, and in America, in California at that, and the conditions you would think we were out in some prison in some third world country. It was terrible. So some of the only things they can do, one, for the little cartons of orange juice that we get when you're locked up, they are not the best at all, but they have some vitamin C in them. So the brothers or sisters who are locked down, one, you want to get as many of those orange juices as possible. You know how it is. You trade orange juice for a bag of cookies or a bag of cookies for peanut butter and jelly. You know how it is. All right. Do what you got to do. Win a domino game, win in push-ups, whatever you got to do to get some orange juice. That's the first thing. Two, we have to stop drinking that chocolate milk that they give us in there. That is
chocolate milk.
I love chocolate milk now, but in there, that's not chocolate milk. That stuff is so horrible. It produces a high level of excessive mucus that clogs up the lungs, which is the area that becomes affected and infected by COVID-19. So anything that produces the mucus, we want to stay away from. When they bring in the vegetables, even though the vegetables are canned, take it. The body can use those nutrients. Stay away from the dairy. Stay away from most of the milk. And I know it's hard during breakfast. You got to the milk carton. I know, but do your best to drink more water than anything. And while you're locked down, get more cardio. And when
Mm-hmm.
you go outside, so if you're not locked down, or if you're not, if you're in GP, if you're in general population, get outside and soak up as much vitamin D if they let you out. If not, again, cardio. You need to add heat to the body. So during the shower time, make sure you take the longest hot shower as possible to drain out the mucus within the body. These are a lot of things that we have to do when, those who are locked down. Get a lot of cardio muscle building in, push-ups, jumping jacks, squats, all of that, anything to burn the mucus to open up the lungs. When you're
Gotcha.
in there, and like I said, a lot more water as possible.
Right, that's good. So Love Crew, if you have family members, you work there or they're inside, just share that information that Brother Rizza just talked about for our incarcerated brothers and sisters. There's so much that I want to talk about. I know when you were born, like your mother, she didn't vaccinate you, so you've never been vaccinated. You're against the K, what is it, the vitamin K shot. You're
Oh, yeah.
against all that. Real quick, for Black families that are about to give birth, or they're thinking about getting pregnant and about to give birth. Talk to us about why it's so important for a man, like it can be the father, the cousin, uncle, whoever. Why it's important for a man to be in those appointments, especially in the day that the woman is due to give birth. Why should men be there?
We are taught in the Nation of Islam that there is a system of how they operate in hospitals and how they were trained to prick the baby in the brain or deliver the child to a wild beast. Now, that at one point was symbolic, and at a certain point it is literal. They are threatening women. They are bullying women. Sisters, please hear what I'm saying. And some of you have experienced this before. They are threatening, bullying them, and they're trying to rush questions in about legal things and getting them to approve, whether if it's a C-section, vaccination. They're sitting next to the bed when the woman is dilating, and now you're going to heavy contractions. So you just don't want nobody around you. That is when they sit next to you and start asking you questions. So do you want to take this vaccination for your child? You know you need it. You know your baby needs it. Vitamin K. Okay, good. MMR. Yeah, here, just sign here. Just check this box. And of course, if you're going through pain, heavy contractions, you're going to sign it. Here, please, just get away from me. And you think that is good for you because it's what the nurse is taught to tell you. That's what the doctors are taught. Most of them don't even realize how much they've been lied to, because there is no class in any of the medical schools on vaccinations alone. None. So they are lied to themselves. So brothers have to be there. Brothers, whether if you're an uncle, as she said, whether if you are a nephew, whether if you are, the family friend, whoever it is, a strong man, educated man has to be there to speak up for her, because she is being abused emotionally, mentally, and verbally, and she is being taken advantage of. We have to take care of our children, brothers, because the hospitals do not have our best interest when it comes to our children. So yes, the men have to be there, because it even gets physical when you say, no, I don't want vaccines, and they will force it on the women and her child. They will take the child, and it's been done many times before. They will take the child right when the child is born, bring the child into another room, clean the child, and then vaccinate the child. And the woman will not have known that it even happened. So you have to be there. Demand that the child remains in the same room with you and the mother. Make sure the baby goes skin to skin. They can clean the child right there. And you talk to the nurse or the doctor, etc., and have them check off. No, I recommend no vaccines. I recommend that. But again, you do your own research. But yes, the brothers, we have to be there. It's imperative.
You also, I read and heard, you also encourage doulas and home births.
I
You want
was
to
just
briefly talk about that?
Oh yes, you right there, you own it. We never, as an original people, trusted doctors in white coats, Western medicine, and that is for good reason. But the way we do it as an original people, as natural people of the earth, is home birthing with a doula is spiritual. It is mentally connected to nature. It is emotionally connected to how we are, and it is the best way to bring a baby into this physical life. It is a complete process. You do not lay on your back. Lying on your back is something that the European did, and it is horrible. That is not how you're supposed to give birth. It is supposed to be done in a squatting format, to where the gravity pulls the baby down, whether if it is a water birth or not. And it has to be done in a peaceful environment, which is why a doula is important, midwife is important, with candles or sage or incense, with certain vibrations of energy, tones of music, etc. All of this is what we do as an original people. It is not supposed to be painful. Ain't nobody supposed to smack your baby on the butt to see if the baby's alive. Okay, this is all of this stuff is pain. The baby comes into life and it's pain, it's shocking, it's bright lights. Oh my God. It's not, it's supposed to be him. The baby comes out in water. She goes skin to skin, or he goes skin to skin with the mother. You keep the placenta attached to the baby until it fully is done pumping. You can sprinkle some lavender on it, and on some other herbs on it, and you allow that to pump, because all of those cells, those stem cells, are needed for the baby's brain, baby's overall health, which is why they're doing cord clamping or cord clipping in hospitals, because they're taking the rest of those stem cells and they're selling them. So there's a lot of nonsense going on in these hospitals, sisters, that you can get away from, but make sure you stay at home. I recommend home birthing is the best way to go.
That's awesome, Brother Rizza. You're giving us a lot of information. I hope the Love Crew is paying attention. I will say with vaccinations, because we're going to kind of move on, that you recommend and encourage folks to research. There's a lot of study out there that shows that vaccinations, the harmful impacts of vaccinations. So Love Crew, make sure you study. It really is, like you said, it's up to you. It's up to the families if they want to vaccinate their children, especially going to school. But there's laws out there where we can not get the vaccination, religious, medical, and I think it's one other way. So just know that, Love Crew. So I have a question. I know, congratulations. I know that you were recently honored by the City Council of Los Angeles for your work in the inner city since the age of 18. So kudos to you for that. And that kind of goes to my question about love. And, for me, love stands for lifting our voices everywhere. It kind of answers the question, but what were you doing when you knew that your voice was lifting our voice everywhere?
What was I doing, man? Everything from community activism to gang intervention to drug education, human rights education, advocacy for parents, freedom advocacy, medical freedom advocacy, traveling the country, not only educating. The talking that's the side that people do when they just get started. When they educate and start talking, that's good. Educating will never stop. We always need that. However, the activism side is where you really change lives. How many parents are you impacting? What solutions are you bringing? Are you helping to change the laws that will change the lives or affect the lives of millions of people, like we did in New Jersey when I flew out and met with the state assemblymen, and educated them on exactly what this law will do to parents when it comes to their right to choose a vaccine for their child. And the only Black one who was there, once we educated him, the vote relied on him. Once we gave him the truth about everything, all the information about the science and everything, he switched his vote from a yes to pass the law to a no to knock it down. And the state of New Jersey still has its freedom of choice because of what we did there with those people who were in the legislature. See, so we've helped to save tens of millions of lives potentially. And that's not the first time I've done that, but I'm just saying that's what I've been doing for years, is getting out in the field. The social media thing is new for me. I've been on social media recently for the last couple of years, but I've been doing this before Instagram was invented, before 2012, before 2010. I was already out here doing this. I was internationally doing work before I was on social media, putting it on social media, so yeah, it's really getting out and getting involved is what I was doing. And if more of us get involved, then more things will change.
Right. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And congratulations again for that honor from Los Angeles. So let's do some just fun questions real quick. Some of them are just one-word answers, but just flow with it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Name one musical artist you're listening to right now.
That will be, oh man, that you hit me with a question. I got like 50 of them, but Michael Jackson.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. MJ's that's the king. Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Okay. So Instagram, we're doing these battles. You got Erica or Jill?
I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh, You know what? I'll say Erica on a Monday, Jill on a Wednesday. How about that?
Really? That's how you gonna answer it? Okay.
I can't. It hurts my soul. I'll say Erica. I'll say Erica, but
Okay,
I, yes, yes.
that's cool. I got Jill. Just
I
because.
see. That's right. Come on, see, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So so because you do so much research and reading, I believe, how do you relax?
Good question. I love dancing. I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. Um,
Wow.
oh yeah, no, I mean like yeah, I get down. Dancing is a passion of mine. I love, believe it or not, I do. I really like cartoons because
Mm,
it just helps to free my mind. So I love cartoons. I love exercising, weightlifting. I love um, going out, going to the movies. I love going to the movies, going to the beach. A lot of things, playing sports. I play almost every sport, and I love golf. I love tennis. I love football, basketball, swimming. I've gotten awards for swimming, and of course, martial arts. All these
yeah.
different are different things that I love to do. So yeah, to relax.
That's cool. If one looked at your Instagram page, we would not know that you can dance unless I missed that.
Oh yeah, it's up there. It's up there. I
Oh,
had to give
okay.
people a sample
Yes,
so they can
sir.
study me. And they're like, "Oh, you too uptight." I'm like, "Y'all don't understand." Y'all don't understand. Malcolm was a dancer. Farrakhan was a dancer. You know, a lot of our great leaders danced or sang or
Yeah.
hmm
Okay. So
absolutely.
kind of finish this sentence. In 5 years, or no, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Let's just answer that.
Married, my own compound, not just house, with our people free to a certain degree, at least in most states, owning our own everything.
I like it.
hmm
Are you gonna be in California or some hidden place?
If California is still here in 5 years, I'm serious. Off this coastline, if it's still here, possibly. And if not, I may be in one of the more central states going toward like Arizona or, going toward more central United States and have also property in Africa as well.
I like it. I like it.
hmm
All right, brother Rizza Islam. It's been real. Thank you so much for your time. Before we go, can you please share how people can follow you, support you, and just hear more from you?
Absolutely. Everything you can find me at Rizza Islam, Rizza, last name Islam, like the religion. Instagram is at underscore Rizza Islam. Twitter is at Islam Rizza. And if you'd like to book me for speaking engagements or interviews like the one that I've done here on this amazing program, you can go to RizzaIslam.com and also get the book Message to the Millennials, my first book that I've just authorized. And it's, from what I'm hearing, it is the best book for millennials. So
Mm.
definitely. I'm
So
honored.
this whole time you let me say your name wrong.
Listen, look, I don't mind Rizza or Rizza. It's cool either way. I'm cool either way. So I didn't find a problem with it.
Gotcha. All right, Love Crew. Thank you for joining me today on Straight Up Love on Spirit 1400 Baltimore. Thank you, Brother Islam, for talking with
Absolutely.
me today. You can support me on IG and Twitter at K Love Notes or Facebook on Love Notes LLC. Looking to sponsor or a segment on my show, email me at klovenotes@gmail.com. Shout out to Jonah Christian Fitness and God and Science. Remember this, my friend, walk in love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Be the fruit of the Spirit and make sure you are lifting our voices everywhere. See you every first and third Saturday here from 11 to 11:30. Brother Islam, thank you so much.
I'm honored, sister. Thank you so much to the Love Crew.
Thank you.
Okay. From activist, independent researcher to humanitarian to community brother and just a brother in the street doing my best to help our people. I'm Rizza Islam and I'm Straight Up Love.